Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. I am so excited to be hosting this episode with someone that you guys know from season 2. She was a guest, Jessica Lee. Jessica, as you know, is briefcase model number 16 from NBC's hit series Deal or No Deal, but her impact goes far beyond television. Born in Korea and adopted in the US, Jessica has built a meaningful career as an actress, model, and humanitarian, working with global brands like United Airlines. Jessica has devoted 2,000 volunteer hours to community work, including organizations like Reading to Kids and Special Olympics. And I was so touched by Jessica's generosity during the LA fires earlier this year. You and I tag team on a lot of posts. She was out there serving the community. She's an incredible person and someone that I call a friend. And I am so grateful that she accepted and told Roger that she was available to host with me today. Jessica, welcome back.
Thank you. It's so nice to be back. And I can't tell you how much the collaboration and the team up and your willingness and your heart during those fires to help me get information out there, to just volunteer your time during a time of crisis to help those who needed information, who needed access to resources. And when you stepped up to help, I knew that we were kindred spirits. I said, not only is she beautiful on the outside, but your heart matches every bit of beauty on the inside.
And you too. Thank you. It was such a great collaboration. And every week I'm seeing Jessica doing something incredible for the community. You are a wonderful, beautiful person in and out. And I'm so glad to call you a friend. And I know Jessica recently got engaged, if she wants me to say this, last year, right? Which is perfect because our show today is our Valentine's Day special. So can you tell us anything about the special time special time in your life, or I don't know how to call it, whatever you say, but it's such a wonderful time, I can imagine.
It is. It's so exciting. And I've never been engaged before. So for me, it was like living out that dream that you always see pictures and videos of, and you say, oh, maybe one day it will be my turn. And sometimes you don't think it's going to ever be your turn because, modern day dating can get a little tough out there.
Oh my goodness.
But, it happened. And I feel so lucky and so grateful and so fortunate. And it's not to say that the relationship is perfect like a fairy tale, because even fairy tales have dragons and evil beings in them, and they're not perfect,
You'll
right?
crack me up.
No relationship is perfect. You have to work through things, but when you find that partner, that teammate, that friend that is willing to grow with you and to go through the ebbs and the flows and to work through those problems together, that's when you know. And that's why I'm so excited about today's guest.
Oh my goodness, Jessica. So before we delve into the conversation with our guest, can you talk about, is the wedding coming up, or you just want to keep that top secret for now?
Well, I suppose I could spill the tea a little bit on the wedding planning.
Oh.
We actually had to postpone the wedding.
Okay.
I had some health issues, and thank goodness my family was so supportive. He was so supportive, and we wanted to just get through that health hurdle first.
Are you okay?
Yes, thank goodness. I was all cleared on November 5th, and now I feel like I can finally move forward with my life and my planning, and I'm feeling excited about the wedding.
Awesome.
And we're going to get married next June,
June
2026,
Oh my gosh.
in Temecula, California.
How exciting. Oh my goodness. I'm so looking forward to learning all about Jessica's big day. But before we jump in and have a conversation with our guest, are there any projects that you're working on that you would like the audience to know about?
Absolutely. So I actually took some time to marinate with all the things that happened earlier this year and transitioning my platform to a platform to help others and to give back. And I said, how can I integrate this into other things I love, like fashion? And so I've decided to start a whole new series and a little bit of a new format. You'll still see some of the old series of just showing outfits, showing styling, red carpet looks. But also, you'll see some moments, and I hope you all will join me for these moments, where I'm in my closet just getting ready, but having some real talks. And we can talk about anything, right? We can talk about mental health. We can talk about relationships. We can talk about life skills. We can talk about friendships. We can talk about how to support people when they're going through something, or even how you can ask for support when you're going through
That's
something.
fantastic. And where are folks going to be able to watch that?
So we're going to kick it off on my Instagram at
Awesome.
the_Jessica_Lee. And then from there, we're planning on branching out to YouTube and putting it up on TikTok just to make those talks and those little bits a little more accessible to everyone, because I'm going to be touching on things that aren't just focused on helping women. It's focused on helping everyone,
I love
because
it.
we all go through these things, right? We all experience moments of letdown. We have anxiety. Men and women discover different parts of their relationships, challenging moments in their
Wow.
family, work. So,
That's
yeah.
fantastic, Jessica. I can't wait to hear all about
Oh,
it.
thank
So, a
you.
great segue into welcoming our special guest, Tammy Pickle, to this Valentine's Day episode. Gosh, Tammy is, she's helped, gosh, sorry, I'm losing my mind here. Tammy has helped countless professionals find meaningful relationships in a world where, you know, it can be very difficult dating and it becomes overwhelming, especially when folks get out of college, when people join the workforce and find it extremely difficult to find relationships, right?
Yeah.
She's seen heartbreak, hope, hesitation, and the beautiful moments that when two people finally choose each other, which is what Jessica just talked about. And today, as so many people celebrate love and so many others wonder if it will ever happen to them, we're going to talk about all of that with Tammy. Tammy, welcome to the Discovery Pod with Eve.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Nice to see you
It's
guys.
so great to have you. So, Tammy, before we talk about helping others find love, can you take us back to your own beginnings? What was your earliest understanding of love growing up?
Well, I had a beautiful family. My parents were very happy. They ended up getting a divorce when I was 7, but then they ended up finding other relationships, and I had step siblings, and I had a wonderful, happy, blended family. And uh, the reason I got into this business was because my mom was actually single. When I was about 13, she joined a matchmaker. She brought home some videotapes. We sat down and helped pick out her guy she went out with. And
At
that was
13?
13. And she just thought, I'm a single mom. I'm working hard. When am I ever going to meet someone? And she went on one date, and they've been together ever since, 30,
Oh.
33 years. And so then she thought, what a great way of meeting people. So then she started her own company a few months later. So I kind of grew up in the business, but she was like, "This works for me. I want to help people. I want to help people in this way." So it kind of fell in my lap, but I knew I always wanted to help people in some way. I got my degree in psychology. I wanted to get into counseling, but then I started meeting with clients and setting them up with people and helping them find love. And I just thought it was so rewarding to be able to help someone looking for something that's so important to them and helping them find that. And maybe they wouldn't have normally run across the person that I introduced them to.
Of course.
And just get getting feedback and helping people kind of throughout the dating journey was really rewarding and really special. So it kind of fell into my lap. It was nothing that I felt like I had to be in the family business, but I really just love what I do. I love being able to help people in this way. And so, yeah, we started with one little office, and now we have about 13 nationwide and international offices, and we kind of help anyone anywhere.
That's amazing. Oh, I really love that you also talk about self-awareness in your clients and encourage your clients to have an awareness of themselves and their relationship trauma and their relationship styles, their relationship past before moving forward. And I feel like that's such an important thing to have a successful relationship instead of like jumping the gun,
Oh, yeah.
right? And just going into it without those things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we definitely interview and just try to get to know each and every person, what they're all about, what they're looking for, where they see themselves. There's some past traumas that come up and kind of working through that kind of stuff. And, sometimes people have like a laundry list of something they're looking for or someone, and I try to help them be more open minded to meeting someone and seeing if there's connection versus do they check every single one of my 100 boxes? It's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
out there, and you have to be open. You have to be open minded and see what kind of chemistry happens in person. So sometimes I just feel like I'm friends introducing other friends, but I'm not going to get upset if you don't like my friend. And then it's also kind of nice, like you get feedback on the date. So like maybe you would hear things about yourself that you wouldn't ever hear. Like you would just kind of never hear from the person, or they'd be polite maybe and like, oh, I wish you all the luck. I just wasn't feeling it. But I might be able to relay like something that's important that you can learn from that can make you a better dater or a better person or whatnot. Like, sometimes people are talking too much about their exes or their drama or their family drama or, poor me, I'm going through so much. And like, sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it until like maybe somebody relays that to you. So I kind of feel like I'm the fly on the wall, the friendly fly on the wall that
That's
can give,
great. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I
and just,
think like Jessica just talked about before we did the intro, she's getting married, which is exciting. It's a
I
wonderful
know,
time, and I love to hear those stories. And I think I've met Jessica's fiance,
Yes.
and he's such an amazing guy. But because this episode airs on Valentine's Day, there are so many people out there as well looking for love. And I know love can be the most beautiful, but also one of the most challenging things to find. What's your advice for anyone out there struggling to find love because they have a lot of self-doubt? And, with Valentine's Day, people becoming very sad and depressed
Yeah.
because they're alone.
yeah, I think you have to be in a good positive frame of mind. If you're like, down about yourself or your job, or, you got to pick yourself up. You have to be like internally happy and healthy. And so you have to just work on yourself, whether it's like talking to someone or working out or just feeling good about yourself, getting yourself all, done up and hair and, a nice outfit. It's kind of your daily life is positive. You're around people that lift you up, friends, family. You're good with your work and your life. And then finding someone would just be icing on the cake. Like nobody's going to fix you.
Yes.
Nobody's going to make you happy. You need to be happy.
Oh, yes.
And then you have to, once you're 100% and like you're great, you don't need anyone to make you happy,
Yep.
then you go out and you try to meet someone, you put yourself out there in different ways, whether it's like new hobby, activity, maybe you do the apps, maybe you do a matchmaker, maybe you ask friends, do they know anybody? Just kind of put yourself out there in the community. And, even if you're going out, like look and feel your very best, be, interactive with people, say hi, smile, go up to someone and start a conversation, those types of things.
Yeah, that's so true. Just take care of yourself, get yourself in a place where you feel confident and happy and fulfilled and content with your life. And then you will start to attract other people who are strong, confident, content with their life. And you never know where or when you might meet that person. It could be in the grocery store.
Is
I
that
mean,
where you met your?
I met mine when I was charging my cell phone. So, ladies, carry a 3-foot wall charger and plug that cell phone
Wow.
wall charger in, and then you're stuck 3 feet. And hey, whoever comes and says hello in that
That's
3-foot
fantastic.
radius,
I
that
love
might be
it.
the one.
I love it. Wow. I mean, it's love is a beautiful, beautiful thing to experience. I've had the lows and the highs. I mean, how does someone get a hold of you, right? Because you, as a matchmaker, and a lot of people are looking for someone good to match them with someone. What is your criteria in terms of someone who's out there? I have a lot of friends looking to be connected with someone, but a lot of people have this hesitation of using a matchmaking service. So what's your advice for anyone who's open and willing to experience that?
I think, you know, app dating is so many people are on it. It's so used, but I think a lot of times it's a time waster. There are people that have met that way, not totally bashing it, but people can say anything. They can use photos that don't look like themselves. They, right? They can be lying about who they are or what they do or their intentions or what they're looking for. So we're kind of doing that background. We do background searches. We do vetting. We see everyone. We make sure they look like their photos. We check ID. Just kind of doing all that background, which is a scary world out there for men and women. But I mean, I personally was on the apps and there's some scary people. I end up like Googling someone that I get their number and I see he was like arrested for soliciting a minor online.
Oh
Like,
my
yeah,
gosh.
you don't know who you're meeting. And so I was like, oh, delete. I am never doing that again. And so that's one thing that people that come to us, they understand and appreciate that we are vetting and screening and background searching, and they are who they say they are. They're professionals that are looking to meet the right person, and we have done all that background, so they don't have to worry about all of that. So I just think that people that come to us maybe are a bit more serious about finding the right person. They want quality. They appreciate that we're screening them, that we are meeting everyone personally. It's not just a database that you sign up on and nobody knows them. So it's a real personalized way of meeting other professionals in the area that maybe, haven't tried the apps or those are not working for them. And so they reach out to a matchmaker. I mean, so many people are doing the apps nowadays that using a matchmaker is just the next best step. So why would you not try it? Put yourself, in a different type of pool of quality of, other professionals that maybe aren't doing the apps and things.
So I have a question. When you say you meet the potentials, if the person lives in California, do you have like a matchmaking, like do you have offices all in all the various states, just out of curiosity, just because you said you get to meet the
Yeah.
candidates, right? Or I don't know what you
Yeah.
call them, potential clients.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we have an office in Beverly Hills, Westlake Village, Santa Barbara, Orange County, San Diego, New York, and Miami, and Texas, and Vegas, and many different locations. But we have a very large database, tens of thousands of clients in our database. And then we would just kind of get to know each person, and then we would hand select members, and then we send profiles back and forth to each other so everybody sees their information. We don't do any kind of blind dating. We always show recent photos and profiles, and they both agree to meet each other. We set up the match for them. So we are kind of hand selecting members, but everyone is wanting to meet the other person that we had in mind for them.
Wow. So each location has a team who's in charge of vetting the clients before you take them on. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. So
Nice.
we meet either in person or virtually. That's one good thing that COVID did for us is we started meeting a lot more people virtually. So we just grew our database like crazy that way. So that was the one good thing that came out of that. But so yeah, either in person or virtually, we're meeting them, and then we have a giant database, and then we just kind of hand select members based on what each person's looking for, their preferences, that kind of thing, and then we send profiles back and forth. You say yes, no, and set it up.
Wonderful. So, as a matchmaker, obviously, this is something that your mom did. So, what do you do when you're not connecting people together? What do you like to do for fun?
I have two boys that are almost 12 and 14,
Oh,
and
wow.
they play three different sports. So I
Do
run them
they?
around, watch their sports. I have a great group of girlfriends that will go to happy hour. All our kids are friends, so our kids will hang out, and we'll hang out and have pool parties and hang out at friends' houses. But yeah, I mean, I love watching my kids play sports, and I'm glad I do because they're constantly doing them.
So, as a lifelong matchmaker, what are the top three personal blocks that you've seen in dating these days?
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Because I mean, I feel
um,
like some people, we might be doing it and we might not be even be aware that we're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I think like pigeonholing themselves on like their type or being too
Yeah.
specific in what they're looking for. I mean, I don't know how many times I get like, I will not date over a certain age, or I will not date over my age, or and it's just like, you have to be more open minded. Like if you were to run into someone on the street, you don't know all of these things that are on your list of what you want. You're just like, oh, that's a nice looking person. And then you have chemistry. We started chatting, we have chemistry. And then all of the other things align as well. So it's just, I think sometimes people have the idea in their head of this perfect person, and that's not always the gonna work. Like you have to be more open-minded, and meet someone and be open-minded with the person and how you connect, and versus, okay, this is my list and stick to it. And if I saw a profile and I just say no, 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 well, how am I ever going to meet somebody?
Like you'd have to like it's like build a bear. You'd have to build the man in some of those
Right.
cases
Oh,
because
yeah.
sometimes those criteria don't necessarily exist in one package.
That's
And I
true.
think
Right.
for my girlfriends, it's important to, and boyfriends, like all my male friends, important to remind them that certain criteria might be nice, but is it really important? Is height really that important at the end of the day versus having common values, having common goals,
Right.
having a similar outlook on the world versus, oh, they have to be fit. Okay, well, send them to the gym. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Like,
I
why do we have some of these very
criteria.
vain sort of
I was that way.
expectations?
I was.
And I think that's so limiting. And I kind of blame dating apps for that because dating apps have been primarily about the aesthetic
Oh,
judgment, right?
yes.
Versus a judgment on character.
Yes.
And so I wondered what kind of roadblocks you were seeing. And speaking of that, I know you had mentioned relational blind spots. What are some relational blind spots that you see as a matchmaker?
Um, I probably would say, I mean, politics are huge right now. There's such a divide that has been really,
Huh.
really tricky, um, just to navigate and to, you know, uh, ask those questions from each person. But it's like mandatory. Like we have to know how you feel, and
Wow.
and how the other person's views are, because if one is very right or very left, it's not going to, work with the opposite.
Oh, that's so true.
Wow, yeah.
That's been really hard, especially like, certain areas in California,
Yeah, I
where
can
it's
imagine.
on both sides. That's been pretty different,
Yeah.
versus a couple of years ago, where it didn't really, nobody really cared.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
Wow.
right.
That's,
really
I'm going to
matter.
piggyback on what Jessica just talked about because I can totally allude to that. You know, when I got out of college, I had a criteria. These are the types of people I want to date. Tall, that, all of those
Yeah.
things. Seriously, I'm not going to lie. Growing up, you become very vain and you're thinking, oh, I want someone who's this. And then you realize at some point in time when you get out of college that the dating pool is not as wide as you would expect and it starts shrinking. And then for me
Yeah.
specifically, I can only say after losing my parents, especially my mom, died at such a young age, I literally had to reevaluate the types
Right.
of people that I brought close to my world because I was always dating guys who were very good looking, tan, Italian, Greek, all of that, emotionally unavailable.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But those are the types of people that I was attracted to. So,
Right.
how do you advise a lot of young guys and women who are just getting out of college and they have this very specific criteria or idea of the perfect mate and it really doesn't exist? I was one of those. So, I can speak based on experience.
Yeah, I see it all the time. And that, you get stuck in your type and that type is not working. So you have to do something opposite. And sometimes I will push my clients to meet each other, even if they're like, oh, that's not really my type. I was like, but she is great. And you guys have so much in common, and you just meet her for a drink and just see what happens. And I push them and they're like, oh my God, she was great, and so sometimes you have to, like, your type isn't working. Like, you have to try something different.
Right.
And if, like, what's it gonna hurt? If you keep going from one bad relationship to the other because it's the same type of person that you're
Absolutely.
bringing into your life. So you have to try something different. You have to try for a different type of person with that is emotionally available, that is maybe a bit different, maybe isn't like the hunky, drop dead, gorgeous, but like the nice guy and going to treat you like gold, right? Like, that's what you
Yes,
want.
yes, yes, yes. Exactly. Yeah. What do they say? The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
Yes. I know. That's so. What are you currently, besides working on or excited about in the next season of your journey? Workshops, new platforms, expansions, anything you'd love our listeners to know about?
We are working on a dating advice book. So that should be coming out soon, just to give stories and just kind of help all the singles out there with their love lives. I love doing things like this, just spreading the word and trying to help people out there. We are working on our own, possibly pretty soon, dating app, but where we are meeting everyone personally, checking IDs, those types of things. Kind of for the masses versus just the right now it's more exclusive, our company, but we can help anyone anywhere. I mean, we have memberships where we're actively searching and recruiting on a regular basis, but then we can add you into our database. So there's different ways of joining with us. But I do a lot of writing articles and just trying to spread the word and just helping people as much as I can, with dating and advice, and just I love what I do, and so yeah, that's a few things that we have coming up.
I like it. That'll be exciting. Keep us posted on the book.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, I'm going back to Jessica just because she's getting married as well. It's one of the most exciting times in a person's life. But Valentine's Day, as I alluded to earlier, can also be a very, very lonely time. A lot of women are scared to take the next step. So, what do you see as far as your when you're trying to match people up? How long does it take for? I mean, I know it's hard because it's all based on both individuals, but in terms of success stories, is it usually 6 months or a year for you to see that actual connection with your clients actually feel like there's that spark or
It varies. I mean, I've worked with people that have met the one on the first introduction that I made them, and then sometimes I've worked with somebody for 6 months before they found someone. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's where they are in their lives, and I think like we were talking about before, it's like being in a good mental place, like being, positive and happy versus like desperate to find someone.
oh yes.
People
Yeah.
smell
Oh,
desperation and they
Oh
run.
yes. That is
So
so true.
yeah, I think it really says a lot when you're just like happy and content and like life is good and you don't need anyone to make you happy. I think that is the
I
best
like
place
that.
to
Yeah.
be versus, oh, I'm just dying to be someone. I need to be with somebody for Christmas and I need to be married now. And like when you're desperate to find someone, it's a lot harder to find someone.
That's such good advice, right?
very good
Take care of your
advice.
mental well-being
Yeah.
before thinking, because at the end of the day, no one else can take care of you. I mean, emotionally, you've got
Mm-hmm.
to take care of yourself, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and just keep yourself busy. Like do things that make you happy. You pick up a pickleball, or go out with girlfriends or people that you work with, or do some stuff with your family or your kids, or just make plans and keep things, like that are gonna make you happy. Things to look forward to. Um, I just like I look forward to like my girls' happy hours. Just like next Friday, I'm going to meet up with my girls, and it's something to look forward to. Just like people that like lift you up and make you happy. Just try to keep yourself as like happy and busy as possible. But then you also have to put yourself out there, to meet someone.
it's
So
scary though. It's a scary thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's scary because I think mentally you have to be ready. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you meet someone and you're not in the right headspace, as we talked about earlier. So you have to be mentally and emotionally ready. Because a lot of people, as you talked about earlier, sometimes go on a date and they bring up the past. So, how do you advise your clients? I mean, it's a tough thing because people want to talk about it because some people are so traumatized. But there are certain
Eh,
things that you tell your clients, like try to avoid having this heavy conversations on the first date.
I think if it gets brought up, it's weird not to talk about it a little bit, but it's when you go into too much of the gory details and like you still seem bothered and traumatized, that's where it can come off as like, oh, they're not over this person. They're still very angry.
right.
They're still jaded, and so then it might come off negatively. So if you're just kind of short and sweet about it, give a little bit of detail. That's your life, that's your story, that's your dating history. So you want to be honest about it, and you would want the same from the other person. You know, just want them to be like, oh yeah, nothing bad happened and we're just not together. Like obviously something happened. You want somebody to be honest about what went down, and but i'm I'm great, and I'm wanting to find something new, and yes, this has happened to me, but like we're cordial, or we ended amicably, and I want all the best for that person, and and I'm now ready for my new chapter.
Yeah. And you can always talk about what you learned from it, right? So
Yeah.
then it's more of a positive takeaway
Yes.
from a relationship instead of just dumping on it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Especially, we're not teenagers dating right now, and there's a high probability that we've all dated a few people at this point in our life,
Yep.
and it's a little weird to not say anything. However, don't let it dominate the entire conversation, but you can say, oh yeah, this was my experience, but also this is what I learned, and now this is what I'm hoping to have in my next relationship. You can
Yes.
give it
Sure.
a little bit of glitter. Put a little glitter
Put the
on it.
positive. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
incredible. I think being in the industry, you said when you were 13, you've seen this love evolve, and especially in today's world with dating online, which we talked about, all the various platforms. Has there been much of a shift? I mean, love is always going to be love, but people are trying love differently. Some
Yeah.
people fly to different parts of the world, especially now on TV. You've got all of the shows like 90 Day Fiancé. People have this unexpected reality of what love is supposed to be, and how do you keep your clients grounded so they know it's not as, I mean, it's not a fantasy. It's love that you've got to work at it. It takes a lot of work. You have the connection, but the connection can fade.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't take on every client if I didn't feel I could help them for whatever reason, if they had unrealistic expectations or they were looking for something that I didn't feel that I could help them meet that person, then I wouldn't take them on as a client.
Okay.
So um, I I think I work for people that are realistic in what they're looking for. They seem open. They seem like they're not serial daters and just want to date all kinds of people, like they're looking for something real. So I think that they are coming to us really wanting to meet that right person. And I I think that it's just a different kind of professional comes to us versus like apps. I feel like you might chat with somebody, but they're chatting with, 4 or 5 other people at the same time. So how can you invest your time and energy in multiple people? So I think with the apps nowadays, people are like, oh, there's somebody better out there. I'm going to find somebody that is better. So I'm going to keep swiping. I'm going to, not give that person my full attention. I'm going to like see what else is out there. So I think that mentality is hard for people that are serious, and they're also on the apps, because the people that are not serious are, you never hear from them. You meet them once and never hear from them again. You don't meet them for months and then they resurface, or
Yeah,
it's tough out there on the
it's
app
tough. Yeah.
and things.
I
So I
love
just
Jessica's story in terms of how she met her, fiance. It's incredible. It's one of those stories that you hear like in the movies and you're like, what? It really
Yeah.
happens in real
Yeah.
life.
It does happen in real life. And again, I was in a place where I wasn't looking for anyone,
I like
and
that.
I was just hanging out with my friends, and we got invited to a smaller little get together. I said, okay, sure, why not? Let's go. But I have to charge my phone because it's dying. So I had not a charging brick, because that would have changed everything. I might not have met him if I had a charging brick. No, I had the one where you stick it into the wall, and I only had a 3-foot cord, so I was confined to the wall, and bada bing, bada boom. There you
Great
go.
lessons for others to learn. Amazing. And here she is getting married in a few months. My goodness. Such a success story. And I love to hear. I mean, it's beautiful. I can say this. I love what Jessica just said, because go out there and don't think about it, right?
Yeah.
Just focus on yourself, and you never know what the universe is going to bring your way. Knowing that this episode airs on Valentine's Day, and there's so many single people all over the world, If they wanted to get a hold of you, obviously there's a website, Instagram. How is that first engagement is there to get a hold of you? Is it going on your website or just so people know? I mean, I have a lot of single friends, so.
Yeah, they can go on our website, eliteconnections.com. We have like a form that they can fill out their information, send photos, and then we would be in touch with them, talk with them more about how it all works. But yeah, they can reach out to us and then we can give them more information about how everything works.
Awesome. So Roger just is counting down. We're down to the last 3 minutes. If the last question, if you could have dinner with anyone, 3 people dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh my, huh. Jesus? So many questions. Let's see. Man, you're gonna put me on the spot here. Who are my favorite people? I don't know. I guess that's all you're getting. I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
No problem. Well, Tammy, thank you for being here with us today and opening up about conversations that so many people are thinking about today. Your insight into love, connection, and human vulnerability has brought both comfort and clarity, especially on a day like Valentine's Day. Jessica, for you getting married, I mean, what do you think about having Tammy on Valentine's Day, of course?
Oh, I think it's great. It's so important. And remember, self-love, and not in a selfish way, but you do have to have love and respect for yourself first.
That's the most important advice. Have love for yourself. Thank you again, Tammy, Jessica. Thank you for hosting Roger over there. Thank you for producing. I'm going to pronounce his name correctly because if I don't, there's a problem wrong with me. Asher. Thank you for being behind the cameras. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember to watch this very special episode on the Discovery Pod with Eve on our YouTube channel, or you could watch us or listen to us on all of the various podcast platforms. Remember to tune in every Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. You never know who's going to stop by. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day and see you next week. Bye, everyone.